Good morning, students. Today we have learned about the 8 number topic, how seasons occurs past second. That means in this topic we will learn about the many activity related to the season. First point is the apparent movement of the sun. You must have realized through your observation that the position of the sun at the sunrise appears to change on the horizontal every day. Its position appears to move toward the north or south in these years. In the course of the years, however, in reality the sun does not move anywhere. That's why this movement of the sun toward the north or south in year is called as the apparent movement of the sun. The position of rising sun keep on moving toward the south in the period from 21st June to 22nd December. This period is called as a Dakshinayan, and from 22nd December to 21 June this sun keeps on moving toward the north. This period is called as Uttarayan. The revolution of the earth around the sun, the tilted axis, the earth or the two factors responsible for the apparent movement of the sun. Seasons occur only with the reference of the northern and southern hemisphere. That means here given the apparent movement of the sun. That means based on this observation you realized at the sunrise appear to change the horizontal every day. That means sunrise appears to the change on the horizontal every day. Its position appear to move toward the north and south in the course of the year. That means the sun who is the move toward the north and south course in the years. However, the reality sun does not move anywhere. That means sun is move anywhere? Not. That means that is why the movement of the sun toward the north or south in year is called as the apparent movement. That means the movement of the sun. The movement of the sun is the toward the south pole and north pole. This is called as the apparent movement. The position of the rising sun keeps on moving toward the south. This period is from 21st June to 22nd December. This period is called as the Dakshinayan. The position of the rising sun keep moving toward the south. That means at that time the sun who was the move toward the south, the period of 21st June to 22nd December. This period is called as the Dakshinayan. What is the period of Dakshinayan? 21st June to 22nd December. At that period the sun who is moving toward the south, this is called as the Dakshinayan. And 22nd December to 21st June the sun keeps on moving toward the north. This period is called as Uttarayan. That means what is the period of the Uttarayan? 22nd December to 21st June. At that time the sun moving toward the north. This is called as the Uttarayan. The revolution of the earth around the sun and tilted axis of the earth, the two factors which are responsible for the apparent movement of the sun. That means the revolution of the earth around the sun and the tilted means to move कलने म्हणतो की नाही, to move tilted axis the earth are two factors which is the responsible for the apparent movement of the sun. You understand what is the definition of the apparent movement? That means the sun, sunrise appears change on the horizontal in every day. Its position appears move toward the south and north in the course of year. That means sun who was move toward the south and north in the years. However, the reality sun does not move anywhere. That means the movement of sun toward the south and north pole in year, this is called as the apparent movement. And what is the period of Dakshinayan? 21st June to 22nd December. What is the period of Uttarayan? 22nd December to 21st June. This is you understand the definition of Dakshinayana and Uttarayan. Second is the peripherals and aphelions position of the earth. The perihelions and aphelions position of the earth. The path of the revolution of the earth around the sun is the elliptical. The sun is at one of the two center of the ellipse. The sun does not change its position as the earth moves in all ellipse. Its distance from the sun do not remain the same. It is minimum distance the first week of the January. This is called as the perihelion position of the earth. In the position the southern end of the axis toward the sun, as against this is the first week of July. The earth is at the farthest point of the sun. This is called as a aphelion position. In this position the northern end of the axis is toward the sun with the help of figure 8.1, which show the position of the earth in relation to the sun. You can guess which regions prevails in which hemisphere. Season occurs due to the revolution of the earth as well as due to the tilt of the axis of the rotation. That means the path of the revolution of the earth around the sun is elliptical. Elliptical means to oval shaped. The sun is at one or two center of the ellipse. That means at that ellipse the oval shaped, these are two centers. The sun does not change its position at that time. The sun is changed its position? No, the sun is not changed its position. As the earth moves in ellipse, its distance from the sun does not remain the same. That at that time earth moves in ellipse, its distance from the sun does not remain everywhere, and it is the minimum distance the first week of January. This is called as and this distance in minimum distance at the first week of the January. This is called as the perihelion position of the earth. In this position the southern end of the axis toward the sun, and at that period, in the January period, the southern end of the axis toward the sun. The southern end of the axis toward the sun. At against this first week of July, the earth is at the farthest point from the sun. That means in the which month? In the July. That means here aphelions and perihelions. That means in the month of the July, at that time July, the earth is at the farthest point of the sun. That means इथून इथं काय आहे, distance जास्त आहे. In the this is called as the aphelions position. In this position the northern end of the axis toward the sun, and at that time this northern end of the axis toward the sun with the help of 8.1. that means you understand the 8 point based on the 8.2, and here given the then which show the position of the earth in relation to sun. You can guess which region prevails in which hemisphere. Seasons occurs due to the revolution of the earth as well as due to the tilt of the axis of rotation. Then due to the gravitational force of the sun and earth, the speed of the earth gets reduced during the aphelion position and increased during the perihelion position, as the difference in the distance of the earth in both this position is not very great. It does not have any effect on the season. That means as the next point, as the earth revolves around the sun, the equator receives perpendicular rays on 2 days in year. This condition occurs 21st March and 23rd September. On these days both poles are at the same distance from the suns. This is called as equinox. That means, and the illuminated or dark portion of all the parallel included the equator are shown in figure 8.3. In this figure, the circle illumination divided all parallel from the north pole to south pole equally. Everywhere on the earth, night time and daytime are equal duration. This condition is called as the equinox. That means, what is the definition of the equinox? As the earth revolves around the sun. That means, at that time the earth, who is the revolve around the sun, the equator, receive perpendicular rays on 2 days in a year. That means, in the 2 days in a year, the rays of sun's equator received the perpendicular rays. Which days? 21st March and 23 September, and this is day both poles are at the same distance. म्हणजे ज्या बोथ पोल्स आहेत, साऊथ पोल आणि नॉर्थ पोल, त्याचं डिस्टन्स काय असतं इयरमध्ये? त्या 2 डेला काय असतं? सेम असतं, आणि त्यालाच काय म्हटलं जातं? इक्विनॉक्स. अंडरस्टँड डेफिनेशन ऑफ इक्विनॉक्स. The illumination and dark portion of all the parallel included equator are shown in figure 8.3. In figure, the circle illumination divided all the parallel from the earth pole, the south pole equally. That means, there were in the diagram, the illumination dark portion, that means these portions, all of the parallel included the equator are shown in the figure 8.3, and this figure circle illuminations divided all the parallels from the earth pole, south pole equally. Everywhere on the earth, night time and daytime are equal duration. That means, this time, at that time, there where the night time and daytime is same, and this condition is called as the equinox. On equinox or equinox, the sun's rays are perpendicular on the equator. In this condition, the circle illumination coincides with a great circle define 2 opposite meridians. In this northern hemisphere, spring prevails from 21st March to 21st June, while autumn prevail from the 23rd September to 22nd December. This southern hemisphere has the opposite season during this period. In the northern hemisphere, 21st March is called as the spring or vernal equinox, where the 23rd September is called as the autumnal equinox. That means, the sun rays are perpendicular on the equator. That means, at that time, the sun rays who is the perpendicular to the equators. In condition, the circle illuminated coincides, that means both sides with a great circle, and these sides 2 opposite meridian. At that time, there were the 2 opposite meridians. In this northern hemisphere, spring prevail from the, at that time, in the northern hemisphere, spring prevails, or the spring period of the 21st March to 21st June, while autumn prevails from the 23rd September to 22nd December. The southern hemisphere has opposite season during this period. That means, at the 21st March to 21st June is the autumn, and the 23rd September to 22nd December is the spring. In which hemisphere? In the southern hemisphere. And in the northern hemisphere, 21st March to 21st June is the spring, and the 23rd September to 22nd December is the autumn. In the northern hemisphere, 21st March is called as the spring or vernal equinox. That means, the 21st March is also known as the spring or the vernal equinox, whereas 23rd September is called as the autumnal equinox. That you understand? 2 dates are so important. In the northern hemisphere, the 21st March is also known as the spring or vernal equinox, and the 23rd September is also known as the autumnal equinox. The equinox or solstice dates can be vary by a day or so. You understand? What is the Dakshinayan, what is the Uttarayan, what is the period of Dakshinayan, what is the period of Dakshinayan, what is the equinox, what is the apparent movement. That means you very You understand this concept? Thank you.